In today's video, we're going to be making a dish unlike anything you've probably seen. I was recently introduced to this dish after browsing an online image board. After seeing how it looked and what was in it, I absolutely had to bake it. Some research later, and I'd already gone off to buy the cheese. If you can identify as one of the following, I recommend closing this video now and looking at a different webpage. Vegan, gluten intolerant, or lactose intolerant. What you may see may offend you. I deeply apologize that you will not get to enjoy eating this wonderful creation. With that out of the way, let's talk about the dish. Now, I'm not Georgian, so please bear with me, some of these words may be mispronounced. What is Khachupuri? Khachupuri is a staple of Georgian cuisine. The country Georgia, not the state, mind you. It's so important to their country that an economic institute modeled the cost of living based off the cost to make them. Think of Big Mac economics if you're an American. There are many different regional variants to this dish, but from what I've researched, this recipe would be called Adjarian, from the region of southwestern Georgia. From what I can also tell, the stuffing of the crust isn't something Georgians do traditionally either. But for us in the States, we absolutely love stuffed crust pizza. Logically, we have to stuff our crust here when making it. The cheese blend is a bit harder to track down here. In our recipe, we are using a blend of feta, mozzarella, and Monterey Jack. The traditional Georgian cheeses used are Silguni, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one. I have no idea where I'd find these cheeses locally. Speaking of finding things locally, I could only find 2 establishments that even sold Khachupuri in my metro area. That's a small market share. Even in areas with higher populations of Armenians, Glendale, a quick search showed that there's only 4 restaurants selling it. There is a lot of untapped potential for Khachupuri in America. Now let's look at the economics of making these. Ideally, as a consumer, you'd want to have these served up straight out of the oven, like a pizza. A bakery or restaurant could easily prepare a bunch of unbaked Khachupuri and toss them into an oven when ordered. Sure, it would take about 10 to 15 minutes to cook, and top with an egg, but that's not much different timing-wise from ordering a pizza from an authentic establishment. I would rate this equivalent to making a calzone in terms of time required. Now how about the ingredients? The most expensive part would be the cheese. With this recipe, it costs around $2.50 to $3 in cheese to make each one, most being the cost of the feta. A restaurant or bakery can get that much cheaper in bulk. Will these catch on with the mainstream? It's possible. I'm sure that once enough millennials are aware that these exist, bakeries will start making them. The demand can be there, it just needs to be influenced. But for now, if you can't find a local place that makes them, here's the recipe to make your own. Here are the ingredients you need to make Khachupuri, as inspired by Chef John of Food Wishes. For the dough, you're going to need 2 cups of flour, half a cup of milk, 1/3 cup of water, warm, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of white sugar, and 1 tablespoon of yeast. For the cheese filling, you're going to need 8 ounces of feta, 4 ounces of low moisture mozzarella, and 4 ounces of Monterey Jack. You're also going to need 2 eggs and a tablespoon of butter divided in fourths. For the equipment, you're going to need baking pans, bowls, a mixing spoon, measuring cups and spoons, parchment paper, and a cutting board. Start off by mixing the milk, water, sugar, and yeast in a bowl. Allow the yeast to start foaming. 10 minutes. Stir together the yeast mixture. Add in the olive oil, salt, and flour to the bowl. Mix together until a dough is formed. Turn the dough onto a floured surface and knead for a few minutes. In the other bowl, coat with olive oil. Place the dough into the bowl. Cover the bowl and allow the dough to rise for about an hour. While the dough is rising, prepare the cheese mixture. Crumble or shred the cheese and mix together in a bowl. Once the dough is risen twice the size, preheat your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. Punch down the dough. Divide the dough in half. Roll each piece onto a floured piece of parchment paper. Roll both halves out into squares, around 12 inches in each direction, and around maybe a 1/4 inch thick. Create 2 lines of cheese along the longer edge of each piece of dough, about 2 inches from each edge. Carefully roll the sides of the dough over the cheese toward the middle. This part's a little tricky, so be a little careful. Then roll the edges back towards the edge to form a cavity in the middle of the dough. Roll together the ends of each side. The dough-wrapped cheese should represent a canoe. Fill the inner cavity of each khachapuri with the remaining cheese mixture.
Khachapuri is ready to go in the oven. They come out good.
Place each in the oven and bake for around 10 to 15 minutes until the outer edge is golden brown. Remove each khachapuri from the oven. Crack an egg into each of the inner cavities. Be careful not to spill too much of the egg white along the edges of it. Bake for an additional 3 minutes or so. Remove the khachapuri from the oven again. Place 2 pieces of butter into the center of each khachapuri. Serve hot.
So this is the Khachapuri, Georgian dish. Crust is stuffed with cheese. There's an egg in the middle. You got all that dough. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
To eat these, tear off the pieces of dough and mix in the egg with the cheese. The egg will be kind of runny, so that's part of the sauce.
Mmm. I need to drink this. Man, it's good. Mmm. Oh my god. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Mmm. Oh my goodness, the cheese.
If you have to reheat one of these, wrap it in foil and place in a refrigerator. To reheat, you can either place into a warm toaster or oven for a few minutes. I've tried microwaving it with a damp paper towel on 30% power for 4 minutes, followed by 30 seconds at full power. Honestly, I would recommend toasting if you had to reheat. This has been my favorite dish I've made this year so far. I still have a lot of cheese left over, so I plan to make it again. Maybe I can use cheese curds the next time I make them. This dish is so versatile, I can see how it became a national staple.
Oh. Oh. Oh my goodness.
I'd like to thank Chef John for showing me this recipe at foodwishes.com. You can check out allrecipes.com in his category there. If you like this video and want to see more cooking, please subscribe and leave us a like. I hope you enjoy making this dish as much as I did. Go check out one of our other videos and I'll see you there.